Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. As always, you guys are amazing people, and I thank you for everything. Today, we're going to do a video from the History Lord. It has come requested, so thank you for the request. And I always love when videos of creators that have already given us a blessing and who are friends of the channel. When these videos are requested, they're good. Yeah, we're going to watch them for sure. So I'm excited to see this. I know very little of Bond Street. What do I know of Bond Street? I know that it is, I believe, famous for shopping, like high-end shopping. So when I hear of Bond Street, I think of Louis Vuitton, Gucci, those kind of places. I hear it's near Savile Row, which of course has its own tremendous history. We're going to get a brief history. Maybe I think it's what's in the name, so we're just maybe get some history backstory, I should say, on how it got its name and how it ended up being where it is today. Maybe, I don't know. We're gonna see. There'll be links to this video and to more of History Lord's videos. I know there are many of you who do request his videos and who enjoy him, so please keep those coming and go over there and support him. If you have one like and one subscription today, please go give it to him. It's important that you do so. Before we begin, we're going to also read from our book today. But before we do that, I want to address something that happened this week. Earlier this week, we did a video on Haworth, and with the lovely Kirsten and dashing Jorg. Go support their channel as well, real important, but we love them, and they are friends of the channel. And you all pointed out this week how shocked you were that I did not know who the authors of Wuthering Heights, Jane Eyre, so on and so forth, the Bronte sisters. I didn't know who they were. I knew the books. I knew of the books. Not all the books, but I knew of some of the big ones. And but I did not know the authors. And boy, I mean, I figured I would say something that would cause people to kind of go, huh, scratch their head. But I had no idea it was going to be who wrote Wuthering Heights. Does this make me ignorant? Probably. Does it make all of America ignorant? No. I'm sure there's probably many people who know who the authors were. They are, famous. And why I didn't know them, I can't explain why. I may have heard of them back in the day, and I just forgot, which is probably more than likely. But I just, for whatever reason, I know of book titles and maybe even the story itself, but there's probably a ton of authors that I'm not familiar with. Until you connect the dots, I'll go, oh, right. I was not a big reader back in the day, unless it involved sports. So unless the Bronte sisters wrote about sport, I probably haven't read any of their stuff. Even growing up, going through school, college, never read anything by them. Of course, I've heard of Pride and Prejudice and Jane Austen. My sister's a huge fan, so that helps with me remembering who that is. But as for them, it went right by me, and I had no idea. So that is awesome. One, let me just say thank you for helping me grow my literature side of my knowledge. And two, thank you for being kind and not making me feel like a complete moron. I do that so easily on my own. I don't need help with that, but yeah, that is. I had a lot of people comment and say, "I can't believe you didn't understand. You didn't know who that was. I can't believe it. You never, that sort of thing. I can't believe it either, because these are huge, famous, classic novels, and but that's just kind of how I rolled as a kid. Unless it involved sports, I generally wasn't reading it. And then all through high school and college, yes, we had to read and write about novels, but none of them were those. So there you have it. But I did not have not knowing who wrote Jane Eyre on my bingo card. But now I do. And hopefully I won't forget. Right? Hopefully I won't forget it because of this. So that I say thank you. Thank you very much. But that was, I was very, I don't want to say surprised, but I was like, okay, okay. I see what you're putting down. Right on, right on. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and. I think I've read more of this book than any book ever. This is by it's from Jack Cheshire. He's the creator of Living and let's see here, Living London History. Living London History. It's a YouTube channel. Go look it up because everything he talks about on the channel is in this book, or everything in this book he talks about on his channel. But go support him. It's real important. This book was sent to me, and I absolutely love it. And you know who you are, so thank you. It's been wonderful to dip in and out of all these times, and I found that there's just so many interesting little tidbits in here about London and whatnot. Okay, you know the drill. Say when. Oh, that was quick. That was quick. Here we go. Okay. This is going to be interesting. This is called A Mysterious Carving. What the Prayer Boy? And where is Prayer Alley? I'm sorry. I need a light. Oh, it's not prayer. Even with glasses, I can't read it. It is the Panyer Boy. Panyer. My eyesight's awful. And I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Panyer. Panyer Boy. Where is it? Panyer Alley. EC1M8AD. On Panyer Alley, next to St. Paul's Cathedral, you will find a curious stone carving of a figure affectionately known as the Panyer Boy. No one knows for sure where it came from, what building it originally adorned, or exactly what it depicts. The boy is depicted sitting on a mysterious object. Perhaps a bread basket, a coil of rope, a fruit basket, or a sack. Below is the inscription, "When ye have sought the city round, yet still this is the highest ground." August the 27th, 1688. Holy moly, it's old. It's thought that this confusing inscription relates to Panyer Alley being one of the highest points in the city, and the street might also provide clues to deciphering the rest of the plaque. Panyer Alley is most likely so called because of the boys who used to sell bread here from baskets or panniers. Okay, John Stowe, writing in the 16th century, says the alley was named after a sign depicting a boy sitting on a bread basket. Perhaps today's Pannier Boy is that sign or later reconstruction. Others think it could be the sign for a pub, here we go, called the Pannier. That was located here until 1666. Holy moly. The building that the Pannier Boy was on was demolished in 1892, but thankfully he was saved from the wrecking ball. He has since been moved around from wall to wall as the city has morphed and modernized around him. Holy smokes. That's wild. And here is the right here, the plaque. Wow, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, we're going to jump out here, shall we? Yes, we shall. I want to go to the map to find. Hi. Okay, here we go. Find where the street is. I believe I've had it already kind of. Here's Piccadilly. It's right around here, I think. Where's the names? I think it's right here. I think this is it right here. Yes, Old Bond Street. So it comes off of Piccadilly. I just love these buildings. Gosh dang. It's just awesome. And it's known for shopping, yes? Clothing store, watch stores, Cartier. Oh yeah, those are big time names right there. Omega. Some of these names, since I'm not a big shopper and know what's what, some of the names are not going to be familiar with me, but Old Bond Street. So is there a new, my question, it was just answered. There's a new Bond Street that starts here at Burlington Gardens. Oh man, I want to go. Boodles, love that name. A lot of jewelry. I see. It seems like a lot of jewelry and watches. So, is that, watch, jewelry. So is it not so much like retail, like clothing? Here's Da Vinci. Okay, that's a big name. But it seems just more like watches. Watch. Yeah, there's tons of watch. Clifford Street. That's funny because History Lord's first name is Clifford. Louis Vuitton. Okay. This is on New Bond Street. That's not know of them. Clothing. Wow. Okay. Got an intersection here with Bruton Street and Conduit Street. Royal Mail Post Box. I just love how narrow these streets are and just the buildings. So now we're kind of getting away from jewelry and it's more clothing. High-end clothing, it looks like. Oh, here's jewelry. Sotheby's London. Okay, that's an auction house, yes? I believe. Men's clothing. A lot of these places I've never heard of. Oh, here we go. It says right here. Bond Street, New Bond Street, high-end shopping and renowned restaurants. Oh, okay. I would love to eat down there. That would be awesome. New layout, grows there. Maddox Street. And it continues on. Wow, it's a long street. with a lot of, I wonder if you got closer, if more names popped up. It looks like it. And where does it end? Brook Street. Does it continue? Can't all be perfume. Men's clothing up this way. Bridal shop. More jewelry. More watch. It can't all be clothing. Race bookstore. Oh, Rare. God, my eyesight is terrible. Rare bookstore. That makes more sense. It goes to Oxford. And then it turns into something else. Interesting. So that's a pretty long street. It seems like it's down here where New Bond Street and Old Bond Street. Old Bond Street seemed like it was like mainly jewelry and watches. And then it devolves into more like clothing and stuff like that. Here's Savile Row. So obviously I want to go check out Savile Row too and their historical shops, and we did a video on that with the History Lord, which I loved. Absolutely thought it was awesome. Okay, we're going to dart out and we're going to come over to today's video. It's not a long one, and we'll get right to it. Here we go. Before we get started, there's a couple links below, of course. I would appreciate if you wanted to watch the video without me. There's that link. The other link takes them to the History Lord's channel. Please go and support it. If you have one like and one subscription today, please give it to him. It's important that you do so. And yeah, let's get into Bond Street. What's in a name?
Welcome to the History Lord. There we are. We're joined today on the junction of Bond Street and a very great name for a street, Clifford Street, named after me, obviously. No, it's not. It's named after the Clifford family, but there you go. Today we're talking about Bond Street itself, its history and how it got its name. The street itself was named after Sir Thomas Bond, who was head of a syndicate of developers who purchased one of the Piccadilly mansions called Clarendon House.
I would have thought it's either named after a guy named Bond, not James Bond, who I initially thought of, but I'm kidding. Or the industry that was in that area. But I couldn't think of what Bond would be. What kind of, you have areas and streets named after, wheat, food markets or whatever, textile, wool, whatever. Couldn't think of what Bond would be. So I kind of figured it had to be a person. Does that make sense?
It was actually owned by Christopher Monk, who was the second Duke of Albemarle, and they bought it in 1686. They demolished the house and developed the area. At the time, that house backed onto open fields, and that was known as Albemarle Ground. And the development of that estate was the first in Mayfair. New Bond Street was...
So Mayfair today, kind of a upscale living area, neighborhood, yes?
Laid out during the second phase, which took place 14 years after the initial construction, and most of the buildings along the street date from around the 1720s.
So there it is. Back then, it still looks pretty awesome. I can see, look at everybody's depicted in their finest clothes. But you go back to now, here it is, Prada and the likes. As we already looked at the map, yeah, some real nice shops, jewelry, watches, some clothing. Impressive. So there's a new and an old Bond Street. Really, the new Bond Street isn't new. It's just newer. I mean, there was 14 years difference. Interesting.
Construction, and most of the buildings along the street
If I
date
understood
from around
that.
the 1720s. It was in the 18th century the street became popular with the bourgeois living in and around Mayfair. Owners of shops let out their upper stories for residential purposes, and they attracted lodgers such as Jonathan Swift, George Selwyn, Pitt the Elder. Georgina Cavendish, the Duchess of Devonshire in 1784, was an active socialite, and she demanded people boycotted Covent Garden as its residents had voted against the Whig members of Parliament, and in particular Charles James Fox. This caused him to lose his seat in Parliament.
Interesting.
And that led to the dissolution of the Fox North coalition government. Well, the Duchess insisted that people should look for nearer shopping streets and encouraged people to go to Bond Street instead. Another
Oh, well, we know who that guy is. Lord Nelson. Interesting, though. Even back then, protests to get people to not shop down there because of their political stance. Interesting. I'm curious, do people still live above these high-end shops? And if they do, I can only imagine how expensive those are. But I just love, that's what I love about the city layout and the architecture of London and just these buildings. It's just awesome. But let's hear about old Lord Nelson.
a famous figure that stayed temporarily in lodgings in New Bond Street
Okay.
between 1797 and 1798 was Lord Nelson, as did his mistress, Emma.
Emma. Well, he gave me the first name. It's Lady something. Lady. No, I'm not going to remember it.
Lady Hamilton.
Ah! Dang it.
She stayed there between 1811 and 1813. Thomas Pitt,
Not that long.
the second Baron Camelford, also lived in Bond Street, but he was unhappy about the presence.
Did he say second Baron Camelfoot?
Between 1811 and 1813. Thomas Pitt, the second Baron Camelford, also lived in Bond
Camelford.
Street, but he
Got
was
it.
unhappy about the presence of the Bond Street loungers, as he called them. Already
Loungers.
notorious for an abusive and violent temper, Pitt, on the 7th of October 1801, refused invitations to join in a celebration of peace between Britain and France. It resulted in an altercation
He's a
with several
diehard.
loungers at his doorstep. Camelford retreated upstairs and fired upon the crowd with a pistol. It was in the 19th century that
Louis Vuitton. Chanel. Dior. Wow. Yeah. They're down there for sure. Now, in Christmas time, this place is lit up, right? Would love to see it. Man. I think the perfect setting for me would be there at Christmas with snow. Oh, that would be great.
Bond Street became less known for its social atmosphere, but increased its reputation as a street for luxury shopping. There's the Royal Arcade that links Old Bond Street with Albemarle
Right.
Street. And originally it was proposed, I think around 1864, as a longer link between Old Bond Street and Regent Street. But this plan was rejected because of the amount of demolition that would take place
That would
to actually
be
produce
required.
this thoroughfare. The street has maintained a reputation
That's
for
awesome,
its
though.
luxury shopping well into the 21st century, and has on occasions been regarded as one of the best retail locations
In the world.
not only in London and the UK, but also in Europe.
Thanks for watching. We do hope you enjoy these videos, and we hope you're enjoying us on both YouTube and on TikTok as
Yes, get over there, support him. They're quick videos, they're easy, digestible videos. He's entertaining. I really enjoy Lord Hume Clifford. He's a wonderful guy. So get over there and support his channel. Yeah, Bond Street, interesting. Named after the guy, not a thing or an industry of what they're doing today. It was nothing was there. They tore down the house to develop it. Very high end, socialite kind of a place early on. some famous who's who, right, live down there. I love, we're going to jump out real fast here. These places right above the shops, the question is, can people still live there? Do people still live there? Must be really expensive if they do, but if you've got the money, how awesome would that be? And now it is what it is today. We saw how early on, New Bond Street and Old Bond Street, we're not talking too, much time has passed between the two, but yeah, impressive. Love to see it, love to get there, but that's awesome. Hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks so much for coming. This was a quick video today. Appreciate all of you. You know that I do. I'll have more videos tomorrow, and gonna get some Christmas videos coming up. And I hope you all have a great day. All right, take care. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. And